This is the Sanford Museum. It was built in 1957 explicitly to display the Henry Sanford Memorial Library and the contents of his home from Kentucky, and it has expanded to be a local history museum for Sanford. Let's go inside and take a look at the collections. This is the display of Henry Shelton Sanford, who was the founder of Sanford, and his entire home was donated, the contents of the home were donated to this museum. And these are some artifacts from the Congo, where Sanford had some nefarious dealings there, and a lot of trinkets. This is a portrait of Henry Shelton Sanford Jr. The artist was César Delacroix. This is a portrait of Gertrude Sanford Legendre. And a collection of books, including Aesop's Fables, that were read by the Sanford children. This is a walnut china cabinet, dates back to 1864. Very intricate design. And this painting is a portrait of Leopold I, the King of the Belgians, painted in 1860 by an unknown artist. And of course, he was the owner of the Congo. This marble statue is Venus de Medici. It was created in 1860. And Henry Sanford was opposed to the high etiquette used in royal courts in Europe. So he petitioned to wear military uniform, and the state of Minnesota granted him a commission as a Major General of Militia. And of course, Henry Sanford served as minister to Belgium for the United States. The rocking chair dates back to 1860 and belonged to Nancy Shelton Sanford. This is a portrait of Nancy Shelton Sanford. This is a portrait of Henry Shelton Sanford. So this bronze marble mantel clock was made in Paris by Lefebvre, made in 1864. And some ladies and family items. Monogram for Henry Sanford. This is Nancy Bateman Sanford. She was the mother of Henry S. Sanford. Painted in about 1820. Nehemiah Curtis Sanford, he's the father of Henry Sanford. Also painted in 1820 in oil. Parents together. And the suit worn by Henry Sanford, depicted in the picture in 1865. This is Henry Shelton Sanford himself at age 18. This was painted in oil in 1841. And Nancy Bateman Shelton Sanford, painted by C. Curtis in oil in 1845. And she's wearing black because she's mourning the death of her husband. This very early oil painting dates from 1834 and depicts Henry Shelton Sanford as a boy. And this is the magnificent library of Henry Sanford. Quite a collection of books. And this library is preserved exactly as it was inside Sanford's home in Kentucky. This display shows us a bit about the Timucuan Indian heritage of the area, including some stone implements and shell implements. These are hide scrapers, actually shells that we use for tools, and various possibly arrowheads, and a mural depicting the old Florida, and a Timucuan canoe, very lengthy canoe, and it dates back 800 years to about 1200 AD. And of course, Sanford figures very prominently in the Steamboat Era along the St. Johns River. It was the last major port along the St. Johns River heading south, and the final destination for most people's vacations to Florida. And of course, Big Tree Park is nearby. And they were known for the Senator, which was a huge cypress tree that burned by arson in 2012, tragically. 2,000 years old. It was the largest cypress tree in Florida. And this is a remnant of that tree. And more of the celery history of Sanford. A lot of collectible items, including salt platters and salt dishes, celery pitcher, teacups, and some farm implements used for the cultivation of celery. These are hot lead printing plates that were used by the Sanford Herald newspaper in the early 1900s. An old sword, probably from the U.S. Army during the Second Seminole Wars. And some displays on the Fort Mellon was located here during the Second Seminole War. And some of the artifacts, including broken bottles, belt buckles, buttons, ammunition. And this is interesting. This is an overshot coverlet blanket that dates back to 1860, brought by a pioneer family named the Caldwells from South Carolina. City seal. And some tools that's related to the celery industry, which was very big in Sanford. It was the celery capital of the world. And the Chunking food brand used the celery from Sanford. Several of the old signs. Beer bottle circa 1900. An old office desk equipped with, looks like 1940s era ledgers, typewriters, phone, and an adding machine. And some other artifacts related to the lettuce and celery industry. Souvenirs from Sanford. The Atlantic coastline. Railroad was very big in Sanford history. A very important part of its development and growth. A piece of railroad track. Conductor's punch for tickets. and some oil cans. Model train. This was used by the fire department. Would have been filled with oil, I guess. It says Sunoco on it. Bailey Odom, your next governor. Small bottle milk bottles and soda bottles. Another collection, some Royal Crown, knee-high, an old cabinet. And a trunk, a small accordion. A dress. The Swedes in Central Florida, so that dress had to do with the Swedish heritage. Some farm implements. So Seminole High School, including a majorette's uniform, some old brochures, band hats, and a lettered shirt. And these are all things used in the Weird Florida PBS show, including a rubber chicken. It says it was seen by millions on TV. Here's a folding opera hat made in the 1930s, used by Art Burris and Harry Wise. Some magician stuff. Here's a wand. And escape rings, Chinese linking rings, it's called. And a tribute to the firemen, the fire department of Seminole County. These helmets date back to the 1950s. And some Oviedo Police Department uniforms. And other equipment, including handcuffs. This World War I display is a tribute to General Joseph C. Hutchinson, who moved to Sanford and spent many years here. He was a veteran of World War I. And then later, uniforms, Navy, Air Force uniforms from later wars. Flight helmet, night vision goggles, flashlights. This water fountain was in the Ritz Theater. Dates to the 1920s. And this is a flat iron dating back to around 1900. And a Crooms Academy, African American school. And in the athletic department of the museum, there is a number of artifacts related to local talent, such as David Eckstein. The great baseball player, home run legend, Babe Ruth. He actually visited the Sanford's Municipal Ballpark in March 17th, 1948. And this ball right here is actually autographed by Babe Ruth. And Tim Raines of Montreal Expos fame was also a Sanford prodigy and had a great major league career. Played for the Yankees. These are the shoes that Tim Raines was wearing in 1984 when he became the only player in Major League Baseball history to steal 70 more bases 4 years in a row. And Tim Raines used this baseball bat to collect his 1,000th career hit on September 8th, 1986. 1987, playing in his 7th consecutive Major League All-Star game, Tim Raines won the game for the National League All-Stars with an extra inning triple. and he was wearing these shoes. And this display is Jeff Blake of the Cincinnati Bengals. Another Sanford high school star athlete. A signed jersey of Alvis Wooded, played for the Oakland Raiders. Ken Harrelson, he played for the Cleveland Indians. Bobby Thigpen, and Davy Johnson. The New York Giants had their training camp in Sanford, and this baseball was signed by legend Carl Hubble. This display highlights the career of tennis star Jim Courier, including some of his rackets. He retired in 2000.